Hi there, welcome to BSF Recovery Team. And let's see, part 4 of building the new wrecker. Well, we got some cardboard, and last time we got the fuel tanks off. So now we're going to draw out a cardboard template of the steel we need to strengthen up the wrecker frame to plate over that truss.
My plan was to have the plates come up and meet the bottom edge of the frame. That meant that we had to cut them out to the contour of the bottom of the frame. I didn't want to have the plates overlap onto the outside of the frame because then they would interfere with the fuel tank mounting brackets. So the best way to transfer the contour of the frame onto a piece of steel is by making a cardboard template or cutout. Of course, cardboard is a little more flexible than steel, so you got to hold it in place real good while you're drawing the template. Once I had the contour drawn on the cardboard, we then cut them out and test fitted them, then transferred it onto the steel, and Ryan started cutting. While Ryan was busy making sparks cutting out the templates, I started putting the interior of the cab back together. I put a gauge cluster in that I had sitting on the shelf for many years that I robbed out of a truck. The reason is if you look close, it's got a factory tack. I also installed the Heartbeat of America custom high back split bench seat that I had in the old wrecker. Even though it's getting a little faded, it's way more comfortable than a factory bench seat. I also remounted an ancient electric brake controller that the truck had and the brake pressure gauge that's plumbed into my brake lock system. By then, Ryan had the plates cut out, and he was grinding them to fit. It would have been a whole lot nicer to cut the plates out with a plasma cutter, but unfortunately, I don't have one of those yet. So it was the torch and the grinder. As you can see, it was getting pretty late, so by the time we had the plates ground and fitted, we decided to call it a night. The next morning, we wanted to weld the plates on, but my 220 welder is wired up into the little garage that's attached to the house. I don't have one wired down into the big garage. And the little 110 flux core welder just wasn't going to be enough to weld those plates on. So that meant that we had to move the new wrecker up to the little garage to weld.
Go!
Once we got close enough to the garage for the cables to reach, Ryan went straight to work welding the plates on. Ryan was spending his time welding, I was refurbishing some fuel tank brackets. That is, if you call a rattle can paint job refurbishing. Meanwhile, Ryan had finished welding the plate on the right side of the wrecker's frame rail, so we went to inspect it. If you look close, you can see that we decided to stitch weld it. That means a few inches of weld, a gap, and then a few more inches of weld, and another gap. We decided to do it this way because of the amount of flex that the wrecker goes through when it's off-road. The stitch welding should reduce the possibility of cracks developing. In this view from the backside, you can see clearly how this addition of the plate to the truss will give us all the strength we need in the area that the old wrecker broke. After my approval, we turned the truck around so Ryan could finish up on the left side. After Ryan finished up with the left side, it was time to move the truck back to the big garage. But before we put it all the way in the big garage, I decided this was a perfect time to set the front clip back on. Putting a whole front clip on with the radiator still in it for two guys is a little bit of a handful.
This end up first?
Yep, it's gotta go up and over the tire. Oh, that's, and it's actually gotta come my way a little bit. Okay, you gotta come forward.
Yeah, let her get out of there.
Yep. You gotta come forward towards the garage a little, because you're up on the heater box, okay?
Yep.
I'll drop that down over the back of the tire.
Back up my way.
Might have to, it gets a little wet, because we're tight on both sides.
Right now?
With the front clip set on and a few bolts holding it in place, it was now time to push the truck the rest of the way into the big garage where we could finish it. No, I wasn't going to make Ryan push the truck into the garage all by himself. We fired up the Bobcat. Once the truck was back in the garage, we started doing some more refurbishing with a paint can.
Well, hopefully that'll keep us from breaking another frame in half. Thanks for watching, BSF Recovery Team. Keep wheeling, and maybe we'll see you in the woods.
Alright, let's see here. Don't need that. Don't need that one. Don't need those.